9 years ago, during the Revolution of Dignity of 2013-2014, people of Ukraine were defending democracy, their rights and freedoms in clashes with the security forces of the Yanukovych regime. 107 protesters were killed, people who opposed the pro-Russian vector of Ukraine's development. It was then, on February 20, 2014, when 48 Ukrainians were killed.
Left and right, break up, let the medics pass.
Then, on Institutska Street of Kiev, the security forces Berkut of Yanukovych, who could not suppress the will of the people, shot unarmed people. And it was on that evening that the regime fell. The Ukrainian parliament adopted the resolution on the condemnation of the use of violence that led to the death of citizens. Many authorities openly supported the protests, who choose Europe, democracy, the path to EU and NATO, the rule of law and independence, rather than friendship with Russia.
The war did not start on February 24, 2022. The war started much earlier. Why do we say that it was then, on February 20th, that the war began? When Ukrainians powerfully defended their values and their future on the Maidan, and then on February 20th, the Putin regime tried to conquer Ukraine with the hands of Yanukovych.
Ukrainians continue to fight even now, only not with an internal enemy, but with a clear and external one, the Russian Federation, which started a war of conquest last year.
Our helmets are already much better today, and our armor is now much more reliable, definitely more reliable than the shield taken from the special police soldiers. And weapons cannot be compared at all. You should have seen that we are now launching at the enemy. And now we burn not tires, but their tanks, helicopters and planes. A lot has changed, but the goal is the same.
Many of those who were participants in the Revolution of Dignity today are in the ranks of the armed forces of Ukraine and continue to defend the sovereignty of Ukraine.
The fight continues. All the friends, most of the guys who were injured on the Maidan, they went to serve in the armed forces of Ukraine. 9 years ago, at this time, we won the first battle of the Russian-Ukrainian war. We did not yet know that the war had begun. We were happy the Maidan had won, the idea and the people had won. But fortunately or unfortunately, it was just the beginning.
Half of the uninvestigated criminal proceedings of the Maidan will soon expire the statute of limitations. There are 134 more proceedings in courts in relation to 254 people. Only 50 people have been convicted, according to the Prosecutor General's office. In order to ensure that all the perpetrators were punished as soon as possible, it is necessary to change the legislation.
If the court, not matter for what reasons, but if the consideration of the case is delayed until there is a year left for the statute of limitations to expire, we plan to provide for in the legislation. If this happens, then the court is obliged to schedule meetings at least twice a week.
The courage and selflessness of the Heavenly Hundred, the thousands wounded in clashes with the special police forces, millions who protested all over the country, changed the course of Ukrainian history. The Ukrainian people have repeatedly proved that they are ready to pay the highest price for their freedom and choice, despite the fact that the aggressor country has been wanting to take away this freedom for many years. Reported by Pavel Stelmach, Yulia Bezborodko, UATV News.